How do you let failure not derail the mission?
Yes, we are married to each other. That would be really awkward if we weren't married to each other.
It would be very awkward.
After college, who you know and the people who know you will speak before you walk into the room. And that's the power of the network.
But what was that like for y'all, Sinclair, especially for you, being in that room with Drew Holiday, the Lauren Holiday Foundation? What was that process like?
Are we planning to put it into stores? The short answer is we are already in some community bookstores. So the question was, sometimes your industry can get saturated. You start getting people that are copying your business or making derivatives of what you've created. Have we thought about making different games or switching industries entirely? I would say we got a lot of more games in the chamber.
It's like you're about to start your college career. What were those moments like? A few weeks before moving, about to start your undergraduate career, don't really know where the bathrooms are at yet.
So mine was a little different because I was on the wait list for UC Davis at the time, and I was going to CSUN. I had my roommate picked out, all my bags were already packed. I was set to go to CSUN, but I'm from the Valley, and CSUN is basically like everyone goes there, right? So it's like college 2.0. So I got the letter that I was finally into Davis. Switched up my whole game plan. So for me, sitting in these seats, a couple weeks before move-in day was very surreal, a little nervous, a little scary because I was picking up all my stuff from the Valley and taking the train up to UC Davis, which is really the furthest north you can go away from LA if possible without paying out-of-state tuition. So yeah, I was feeling a little bit nervous, a little excited at the same time. It was of course, first time living on my own. At the time, my parents weren't paying for my college. It was also the first time I was having to pay for my own laundry, clothes, tuition, hair care products, deodorant, all the things, just 100% adulthood. But it was definitely fun time as well. And I will probably get to the fun part in some later conversation.
Yeah, I would say it was also surreal for me because I was always a year ahead, like in age for everybody else. So I think being 17 and being like, I'm about to go live on my own, like without my parents, like that's scary, but also very exciting. And I think that, yeah, it was just a culmination of everything, working so hard throughout, high school and, finally getting to that point where it's like, wow, I'm leaving the nest and this feels very surreal. I'm from Riverside, so going all the way up to UC Davis was like, felt very far. It felt very far. And although I had family in the Bay, it still was like, wow, I'm leaving my entire village, everybody I know to come up to Davis, and hopefully I fit in. Hopefully I find friends.
Yeah.
Anybody resonate with some of those feelings? A little bit of nervousness, maybe a little anxiety? Y'all can raise hands. We get some snaps going. I come from the poetry community, so if y'all hear something that y'all like and resonate with, that's how we know what we need to talk about a little bit further. But y'all played the Two Truths and a Lie game to start the workshop. The first point y'all had up there was a true fact about how y'all met.
Yes, sir.
I know this story about how y'all met. I'm looking at Devon for a very specific reason, but Devon, how did y'all first meet at that camp that y'all were at, or the program y'all were at?
So we met, it was a summer bridge program 1 week before the official start. It's called the Linda Francis Alexander Scholars Program. And we were doing an icebreaker activity in a room similar to this, where someone was on stage and they were saying, hey, y'all go pick somebody and there's a list of questions to ask them. Like, where are you from? What's your sense of humor? What's your major? All that good stuff. So as soon as they say, go find a partner, I had already been scoping out a little bit. I had already looked around. I already knew she was in the room. So as soon as they said find a partner, I stood up. I looked at her. She looked at me. I was like, you want to be partners? She was like, yes. So I went over there and we've been connected really ever since that moment. But it all started from, again, just meeting at that summer bridge program.
So you never know who's in the room right now.
Literally.
But no, that's literally how it went. And I was very shy, so I was honestly just like, please somebody just come and ask me to be their partner. So he looking at me was like, oh, perfect.
We already got our first question. Go for it.
I noticed that both of you guys have rings on. Are you guys married to each other?
We are.
Oh.
Yes, we are married to each other. That would be really awkward if we weren't married to each
It
other.
would be very awkward.
That was a competing story. And then afterwards, I met my now husband.
But yeah, that's to her point. Like, you never know who's in the room with y'all, right? So of course, didn't know that I was going to be my wife that first week. My roommate, Daniel Walker, we've been friends and roommates all 5 years in college. I'm now the godfather to his two sons, and he was in my wedding as a groomsman, so again, connected. The person who helped do the graphic design behind the board game, I met my junior year of college. He's now in the same fraternity as me. So it's just, you never know the network and the people that you are going to meet in Rise and during your first year at Cal Poly or everywhere else y'all go for college.
And you mentioned fraternity. Are either of y'all associated with any historically black fraternities or sororities?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, ladies first.
So I'm a member of Zeta Latte Sorority Incorporated.
Boom. Be out. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Those are the blue and white ones, in case you don't know name, but you know colors. The blue guys. That's what. Boy.
Yeah, one of our Rise student ambassadors is a Sigma, so
Where?
he's not in the room right now. He's on break right now. Not the judgment for the break. We got a question up here.
What is the benefit of joining a sorority?
Ooh, what is the benefit of joining a sorority or fraternity?
Oh, both? So I can tell you my benefits, right? There's going to be different benefits depending on what your intentions are going to be going into the organization. I can tell you my freshman year of college, I was trying to give back to the community. I was trying to organize a middle school coming to UC Davis, getting a tour, learning about admissions and that sort of stuff. And the organization that was willing to help me before I was even a member were the members of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. They gave me volunteers, they gave me funding, they gave me money in order to pass out food. So I was like, okay, I like these brothers just for the fact that they're willing to help me do what I want to do. Number two, during my broke times in college as well, they also gave me barbecue, right? They gave me food. Again, without me really asking, they just were willing to give me what I needed. Now, before even post-grad, I got to give a shout out to Walter Robinson. Did you get a chance to meet Walter?
I did not.
Oh, legend, RIP. He was the Associate Vice Chancellor of UC Davis at the time. Also a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And when I was going through hardships as a student and I wasn't able to pay my tuition, Walter made some calls and made some stuff happen. Right? So that's all within my first year of the fraternity. I told you later on, I met Markel, who helped design the board game. We've gone on road trips to Atlanta, Oregon. I've gone to Washington, D.C., and everywhere I've gone, I've always met Sigmas who are willing to take care of me. So for me, it's been the network that can help me solve my own problems and also help me build businesses.
I would just double down on the network. I think it's a great way to meet people, and once you understand and look into like the principles of each organization and understand that everybody in that organization abides by these same principles, it was also nice to meet like-minded people, right, within the network as well. And it's like you find people worldwide, right? You know, if you have like we'll see people with letters, maybe it's a little bracelet or a backpack or whatever, and then you automatically have some things in common with that person. So that's definitely a benefit.
And before we get to any other questions, I think networking is a big piece of the conversation today, whether it's with the board games that we were just playing, with the fraternities and sororities, organizations y'all are a part of. When we think about Black Wall Street and different organizations, some of the skills that they utilize. I heard some negotiation tactics at this table, like, oh, I'll take 60%, I'll take 40%, deals being made. Networking is a very big part of college, I would say. It can lead you to free food, it can lead you to tuition assistance. What is the power of a good network? And then I also want to get into a conversation about how we cross paths and y'all became part of my network, became part of the village. So what is the power of a good network?
Man, prime example, right? Outside of fraternities or sororities, there's a National Society for Black Engineers. And I know there's a couple of engineers in here. Have y'all heard of NSBE before?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Join NSBE. The reason why you want to join NSBE, for many reasons. One is they have a program called the Summer Engineering Experience for Kids, SEEK, that we both took a part of. And I don't know how you got your position, but I got my position because of someone that I knew. All right, I was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She knew me as a person, knew her as a leader, and we were interviewing for the seat position. As soon as she came on camera, Zoom, and saw that it was me, she was like, "Oh, you already got the position." Right? We can interview, we can talk if you want to, but I know you. You're going to get the job. And that job was, I think, a 6-week residential program where they pay for your housing in Washington, D.C. for me. They pay for 3 meals a day, and you also got a stipend during the summer to teach engineering to kids for 6 weeks. So purely based on the network, purely based on the personal brand that I had already created for myself as a leader, I was able to get an opportunity without interviewing. And that will happen over and over and over again, right? Throughout college, after college, who you know and the people who know you will speak before you walk into the room. And that's the power of the network. That's the power of me being able to know Kyler, and wherever he goes, wherever institution, wherever planet he goes to, he knows if I need someone to come in and talk about Black Wall Street, talk about entrepreneurship, do some motivational speaking, I know I can hit up Devon, right? That's the power of the network. Queen?
Just giving another example of like post-college, how everything you do, everything that we've done, everything specifically you've done in the education field is why we're here in this room today. So he worked for the Student Recruitment and Retention Center, where he would go to high schools and recruit Black students to come to UC Davis. So that role is how he got into admissions. So after he graduated from UC Davis, he went to work for UCR as an admissions counselor, and then UCLA. And along the way, met
that guy.
Exactly, right? Met some really important people that are now still in our lives. So much so that when the pandemic hit and we realized that our board game sales weren't quite where we wanted them to be, and we started thinking about, well, how do we pivot? What do we do next? And it turned into a virtual program to teach financial literacy, which then, because of his network and people that he had met along the way in these jobs and in these opportunities, when somebody literally called his line and was like, "Hey, I have some grant money. I wanted to do this mentorship program. Y'all have anything like that?" And we were like, we actually do just have this program that we created virtually that we can test out with this school district. And we did that, and it grew, and now this is how we're sustaining our business today. So it's literally, don't take any relationship that you make along the way for granted, because you don't know what that person can do for you, what you can do for each other, really, right? It's not a one-way street. What you all can do for each other in the future, because you never know when you're going to run into somebody, and they may be in a position of power to be able to help you, or vice versa. Right? You may be able to help somebody else in the future. And so, yeah, just always make sure that you really keep these relationships strong. Make sure that you prioritize making good relationships, because the whole "it's not what you know, it's who you know" is 1,000% true. Is 1,000% true. You can do everything right, but that person who's in the right rooms, who have those people talking, in good ways before they got into that interview, will probably still have the leg up. Even if your GPA is higher, even if you had the better position at the internship, right? It's about who you know.
A pre-enrollment program here at Cal Poly Pomona. Shout out to the RISE program for bringing us out to talk about the history of Black Wall Street, to of course play Black Wall Street, the board game, and have a nice, chill, fireside chat talking through our process of being entrepreneurs, the importance of networking, and how to take your idea and make it a reality. Queen, is there a standout moment for you in the RISE experience that you want to highlight?
I think just the questions they were asking in the fireside chat showed that they were not only engaged, but wanting to know more. I think they asked really good questions that were building on what we had already been talking about. So that shows again that they were listening. But yeah, they were interested in what we were talking about and wanted to learn more. So I think it was a really great group.
A great group.
Yeah.
And programs like RISE are vital to success. When we were in college, we had also a summer bridge program called the LFA, Linda Francis Alexander Scholars Program. And it allows you to really just get a lay of the land, meet amazing people that you'll build an amazing life with, network with folks, and just get comfortable with college before just diving right in. So again, shout out to Rise specifically, but every other college pre-enrollment program and summer bridge program out there that's preparing students for success when they become freshmen. We would love to work with y'all. So if you're at a college summer bridge program or pre-enrollment program, community college program, and you want your students to get some engagement with Black Wall Street, you want your students to learn about the importance of entrepreneurship, you want your students to be leaders on campus, make sure y'all tap in with Play Black Wall Street. Send us an email at info@playblackwallstreet.com or reach out at playblackwallstreet.com. We'll catch y'all next time. Right, you never know. Right, so one conversation in Atlanta, one conversation in UC Davis. How many of y'all have had at least one conversation today with another student? We have no idea where that conversation is going to lead 10, 15 years from now. Right? Whether it's marriage, whether it's business, whether it's career, whether it's $1 million idea, whether it's going to different planets and different countries, right? Maybe not planets, let me get realistic. Countries, you never know where that conversation is going to take you in the future.
What was the dream that led to
alignment.
the formation of Play Black Wall Street? And as you talk about that, I'm very curious in talking about, like, because you have idea, you have the first version of the game and then all the iterations of it. So what was that dream? What was that process for y'all?
Man, so I want to give the quick version of the process. And then if there's something that I glance over or glaze over, feel free to ask deeper questions so we can get into it more. But short version, 2017, while working at UC Riverside, was working a summer camp called the Village Nation Uni Camp. It's where they take kids from the IE, from LA, go up to Big Bear for a week long, no internet, no TV, no hot showers, right? Really out there thugging it, but it's a good time. Now, when you get up there, everyone needs to choose a camper name, right? You're supposed to choose a name that you want everyone to call you that's going to separate your own name or your own neighborhood nickname from any traumas, any stigmas that you might have with that name already. So whatever you want to be called, they have to call you that. So the name that I came up with for myself was Black Wall Street. All right, I didn't learn about Black Wall Street until 2011 when I took my first Black Studies class at UC Davis. I love what it made me feel like, the fact that you can have an entire city, 40 acres, made by people that look like me, just gave me a different vision for my own life. So I called myself Black Wall Street. And when I got there, none of the students knew what Black Wall Street was. All right, middle school, high school, even the UCLA college students, nobody knew what it was. So driving down from Big Bear, I immediately called the Queen, right? And Queen, what was that conversation?
He was basically like, I have this idea. I want to do a board game based on Black Wall Street.
Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think? And I was like, that's a great idea. It's so good that I feel like somebody has already come up with this idea. I'm gonna have to look into it and make sure it doesn't already exist.
Exactly. So step one, came up with the idea, shared it with a trusted person, and then just got some feedback on it. The immediate feedback was, it's great, but it probably already exists, right? Have any of y'all gotten to that first two steps where you have an idea, you share it with somebody, and then they give you some feedback, say, oh, that might be kind of hard, or that probably already exists? I saw a couple hands. Okay. Next step, verify, right? Someone says it's hard, but is it really hard? How do they know? They didn't do it, right? Someone says it exists, but does it really exist? Let me check. There's a powerful tool called the internet. So I search Black Wall Street board games, Black Monopoly games, Black money games. The only stuff that comes up is all stereotypical Black urban culture. Talking about selling drugs, talking about baby mama drama. And I'm like, this is terrible. This is nowhere near the vision that I have to create a board game that teaches the real history of Black Wall Street and inspires the next generation of entrepreneurs to rebuild Black Wall Street. So after verifying that the idea is not real, we then went to work, started building some prototypes. We went to really my garage. I had just moved into my grandma's house, and I cut up a cardboard box and drew out what the board can look like. Used PowerPoint to figure out some of the draw cards, stole some dice and money from Monopoly. And from right there, it's called the MVP, minimum viable product. We were able to play the game and see, does this even work? It did work. We then went to step two, printed out a board at Walmart, glued it onto a cardboard box, still using thumbtacks for the pawn pieces, still using stolen Monopoly dice. And that was step 2. All right, the game still works. This is when I then recruited another trusted team member to the team to take the game to the next level. Because I can't draw. It's a common fact. Like people know that. Yeah, we can
You got some
snap
snaps.
draw. I can't draw.
Anybody suck at drawing? Make some snaps if you suck at drawing. Not y'all
Not
pointing.
you. Look, you have to be
And
a
y'all asked for
professional.
the portrait.
Right. But it's important, just like you should know your leadership style, you should also know what your gifts are and what your gaps are. So I knew I couldn't draw, so that's why I called my man Markel and I was like, hey, he's been drawing, doing graphic designs all throughout college, been selling logos, doing album covers for people all throughout college. So I knew, based on his personal brand, right, networking, I can call on him to do the graphics. And we've been pumping out board games ever since 2017. So that's the short version. If there's more questions about the process, definitely let me know. But that's how we came up with the idea and the initial board game.
And I appreciate you explicitly mentioning the MVP, the minimum viable product, because I think as folks are learning about business, MVP is something that comes up. And I literally have my MBA, and we talked about MVPs in class. And so the question I feel very proud of, from MVP to in the hands of MVPs in the National Basketball Association.
That's a good question.
What was that like? Because, like I said, I've known Devon for several years now, so I'm literally getting a Bleacher Report notification about Drew Holiday gifting a board game about Black Wall Street to the NBA players for Christmas. I was like, who stole Devon's idea? So I looked at the notification. I'm like, oh, this is Devon. And I think I texted you immediately like, hey, bravo. Because that's just an amazing thing. One, to know you, because I was like, wow, like y'all are doing this. I'm watching basketball, the basketball players playing the game. I got 3 of the games at home. But what was that like for y'all, Sinclair, especially for you, being in that room with Drew Holiday, the Lauren Holiday Foundation? What was that process like?
Very surreal. Very surreal, especially being, there at the beginning, the conception of the game, playing the thumbtack version. So being like, wow, this works. Like the process when we asked the question, like, if you knew you could not fail, what business would you start? Like that power, the power of I know I can do something, and if you remove the limitation, like it works. It does if you really believe in it. Because as we mentioned, our Kickstarter failed. So if we were just looking for signs, we probably would have stopped there, right? But we believed in the product. No, we believe in this. We're gonna put up our own money and make it work, right? But it was very surreal, I think, to see that like handing him the game and see that he thought so much of it, thought so highly of it, to be like, I want to put my name, right? Because at the end of the day, it's his name on the line too, right? If he's giving out this product that's not any good, right? They're gonna be looking at him like, why do I have this? So the fact that he felt confident in our game enough to say, I want to represent, this game and buy them and give them to all the players was like, wow, like this is something that we've hoped would happen. Like not specifically, but like, yeah, it was just very surreal. Like, wow, it was one of those like we made it moments.
Sure. I think the beautiful part about that moment as well is it validates us to other people, right? I feel like to us, we know the vision, we know the value of playing the board game. We get the emails and the text messages from individual families talking about how it's empowering their 9-year-olds, their 10-year-olds, their grandparents. But I think Drew and Lauren Holiday being able to put us on that national, semi-international stage for everybody to see really just validated the company and definitely validated the board game. And I think more doors are willing to be open because of what they did. So definitely huge shout out and thank you to the Drew and Lauren Holiday Social Impact Fund.
Do you think we're going to get a LeBron James Instagram story playing Play Black Wall Street on Taco Tuesday or something?
Taco Tuesday?
Manifested.
King James, help us out.
Yeah, I say we manifest that, because how dope would that be? You watching LeBron James Instagram story, he's saying the Taco Tuesday playing Black Wall Street. I think it would be dope.
Hey, manifest it. It's going to happen.
We're going to manifest it for sure. A couple of things that you mentioned I do want to touch on. One, failure, because I think that especially as college students about to start college for the first time, many students in the room, y'all is probably top of your classroom. There's going to be points in your college career where you could stumble a bit, where you might face failure. How do you let failure not derail the mission? Life's big questions.
Yeah. How do you let failure...
Not let failure.
How do you not let failure derail the mission. So I'll say a couple failures and then I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
And at some point, if I forget the question, I'll look at you
You know I got you.
and you'll send it via Bluetooth. So, college. I told y'all the story how Walter Robinson helped me stay in college, right? I was paying my own way through college, working 3 jobs all throughout. Freshman year, I remember distinctly, her and her little friends coming home.
Little friends?
Yeah, her and her little friends coming back into the dorm, like 2 a.m., partying, having a good time. I had to wake up at like 2:30 to start a shift at 3 o'clock delivering food to all the dining commons. That was what I was doing, 18 years old, freshman year, driving a truck to all the cafeterias of UC Davis, unloading cookies, unloading breads. I would come back home at like 8 or 9 a.m., have a whole bag full of cookies, breads for the floor, pass it out. I made a lot of friends that year. Right? But again, like sophomore year, I wasn't paying tuition. It was expensive, and I almost got kicked out. It was a failure. I was literally probably 2 weeks away from getting kicked out of UC Davis. I just kept working, kept grinding all summer, made that connection with Walter. He was able to make some phone calls, kept it pushing. Junior year, I got on academic probation. Right? I was talking to someone earlier saying, like, don't take a lot of STEM classes back to back, right? If you're an engineer, I highly recommend that you do not take differential equations, physics 9C, and chemistry all together. You might be a genius, and if you are, hey, do your thing. But if you're a human being, regular person, I would say 1, maybe 2 max STEM class at the same time. She was a chemical engineer, she can let you know as well. But I was on academic probation, right? Almost got kicked out for grades, almost got kicked out for money. So again, failure, stacking up. How do you not let failure get in the way of the mission? I believe every superhero has an origin story. Literally every superhero you can name had to fail to become the superhero that they are. So if you know that, if you believe that, then you know that when you're going through failures, it's a part of your journey to become the superhero, right? It's a part of your journey to become the end result that you're going to be. So if you believe it to be a part of the process, then you're not afraid of it and you accept it. That way you can push through to the end goal.
Yeah, I had a shift in mindset throughout college because I was very much the person that was, top of my class, high school, and then was very much humbled. As he said, I studied chemical engineering and was very much humbled once I got to college. The first, honestly, 2 years was okay. I was fine. But once those like major classes hit, those upper division level classes hit, I was very much humbled. And I was like, oh, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I'm really not, right? And I didn't have to be in high school to get the grades. That was a gift that I had. I could get the A's or whatever without trying too hard. And I realized that is a privilege. And that will not work as a STEM major. I'll just be very, very upfront with you, STEM majors, that doesn't work in college. You have to work at it, right? Unless you're just very naturally gifted and knowing of whatever you're already studying, which I was not. You have to work at it. So I wish I had learned how to study earlier on. I did not learn how to study until I was also on academic probation, right? So that's a similarity that we both had. That's when it came out of necessity. I have to learn how to study, otherwise I will not be here anymore.
So my name is Kyler Nathan IV. I'm the Director for Educational Access and Engagement at Cal Poly Pomona, and today I led a Fireside Chat with Sinclair and Devon for Play Black Wall Street.
I would recommend Play Back Wall Street to other colleges. I think the workshop was very informative, knowing the knowledge of Black Wall Street, knowing the history about where we came from, really is important to our community here. So I definitely will share this information with other college campuses.
My favorite businesses were the pink ones because they were pink, which is like the pharmacies, and there might have been another one, but it's like in that realm.
I think the game session was very impactful for our students. I really feel like they were able to learn about the history of Black Wall Street and the effect that it had on Black African Americans.
A business I would start if I could have at least an unlimited budget would be healthcare for underserved communities permanently.
I think it's important to know this knowledge and share this knowledge with college students as well as students entering college, just because I think it's important to know our history, build that financial literacy within our community, and grow and learn and show that how we can improve the community as well.
So we create the board game. We set the Kickstarter goal for $28,000. And if you don't reach the goal, you get $0. But I'm real. I don't need to promote because I'm real. And we only make $5,000 in the Kickstarter. And we have to give.
Very unreal.
We're very unreal, right? But that gave me my first hard lesson on the chin. Marketing and promotion is a key part of every business, except if you're Dame Dash and you're a celebrity, right? But if you're a normal person, you need to market, you need to make sure you promote your business. Another mistake that we made was cross-branding. So you asked the first business. The first business was True Health Forever, TH4. We had 4 strands of health. We had this huge vision for what we were going to do for the community. One of the strands of health was economic health, and the board game in our heads fit in perfectly with economic health. So we're selling a Black Wall Street board game on the True Health Forever Instagram and the TrueHealthForever.com website. Do you see a problem? Yes, what's the problem?
Reaching the right audience.
You're not reaching the right audience. What else? Some people don't want to hear about traumatic experiences. People don't associate health with the board game, right? So there's that dissonance in the branding. When we changed our Instagram to Play Black Wall Street, when we created a website, playbblackwallstreet.com, when we created a PayPal account that said Black Wall Street, the board game, so that everything was on brand, everything was in alignment, this is when we saw the increase in sales. This is when we saw the partnerships starting to happen. This is when we saw the business actually become a business, right? So that's our first thing that we teach people. I do have a book called 7 Steps to Launch Your Business, and step 7 is name your company, name your brand. So you make sure it's in alignment with everything else that you have before it. After that, I would say we have a very intentional and creative social media team now, right? Of course, social media is not the only way you should be marketing your game or your business, but at this point, it's a free version, right? It's your MVP of marketing. If you're not doing anything else to market your business, you should at least be on social, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. My little sister said people don't Snapchat anymore. Is that true? No. Okay, so maybe not Snapchat anymore, but LinkedIn, if you're in education, you want to make sure you are on at least 2 social media platforms and have an intentional plan and call to action on every single post. So that's the short version of our marketing losses and now wins.
I think finding your lane, like your right audience, like you were saying, I think is one of the biggest factors. I think one of the things that we teach in our 7 Steps to Launch workshops is that if you're trying to sell your product to everybody, you're actually going to reach nobody. Because there's not one message, there's not one product, there's not one song that you can play that will resonate with a 60-year-old and a 22-year-old, right? Different generations, different experiences. So you have to really zero in on who is your main target audience and focus on that. And then the other products or other services, right, will come along later on. But I think sometimes people get into the mindset, and I think we at the beginning we're also getting into the mindset of like, but everybody can play Black Wall Street board game, right? Everybody can benefit from this, which is true. But we can't market this to everybody because we're not speaking to our direct customer if we're trying to talk to everybody. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a huge part of it that we definitely learned the hard way.
No, I saw a couple of hands go up, so I'm going to end with one quick question and we'll get to y'all's questions in the room. Just because I think it's important to mention that you actually took a group of people to Tulsa, Oklahoma. You have a trip going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. What is that like, putting all this work into Play Black Wall Street, the board game, and then going to such a rich historical place like Tulsa, Oklahoma? What was that experience like?
Man, it's a very rich and emotional experience, right? I've seen Jaid shake his head too. He's taken some trips with us back to Greenwood. But y'all remember the emotion that you felt when you pulled the card, right? You pulled the Riot card, and in this game simulation, you felt just some emotion there, losing your fake businesses. So imagine, again, you go to Greenwood and you're hearing from people about how their grandparents lost their business. And you're walking the streets of Greenwood and saying how there used to be this here, there used to be this there. And you just hear about how things were taken away from your ancestors. It's a very, very emotional experience, but it always recharges us for this work, right? Because as much as we know, as much as y'all know about Black Wall Street, you're gonna go home. You might talk to your parents about this board game that you played, and they might not know what Black Wall Street is. You'll talk to some friends freshman year about the board game or about how Madam C.J. Walker was the first woman self-made millionaire in America, and they'll be like, who? They'll not know anything that you're talking about. So for us, it always recharges us when we go to Black Wall Street and come back like, all right, we got more work to do. We got more games to make. We got more books to write. We got more students to talk to and help them build their business so that we can rebuild what was taken from us.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool experiences, but also emotional experiences, is walking through. There's a historical center there called the Greenwood Rising, where you get to see, there's like a virtual barbershop where you can actually go and sit in TC's barbershop and sit in the chair, and there are like, people behind you actually cutting the chair, and you're hearing the conversations of, what they were, the conversations, the barbershop talk, the barbershop talk that, that you experience, the beauty salon talk that we all experience, like they were having that conversation back in the 1920s. And I think one of the very interesting things is how much all of what they're saying still applies today. And I think that's one of those things that doesn't reinvigorate you, like, wow, we still have a lot of work to do. Like, we've come very far as a people, but there's still a lot of work to do because everything they're saying is still a problem today, right? Everything they're talking about is still applicable today. And I think that's one of the things that makes you realize, like, we're not done. There's still so much work to do. So yeah, I think that's definitely one of the more powerful things that I always like to experience for myself, but then see and witness. How is our group, right? We take our team members, we take our employees to Tulsa and to this museum, and I always like to just sit back and observe, like, how are people taking this in? And that's always something that comes up, is like, this is a conversation we could be having today.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have about 5 minutes for questions. I saw a hand at this table, and I think in the table in the back. So you want to go first?
Yeah. So as Minnesotans, I know sometimes the industry, like where your board game, it'll be oversaturated, and then after a while, like you'll see like different like copies of like the same board game you guys made. I ever thought of like, oh, we might have to switch it up, or even like have a whole different business?
So the question was, sometimes your industry can get saturated. You start getting people that are copying your business or making derivatives of what you've created. Have we thought about making different games or switching industries entirely? I would say we got a lot of more games in the chamber. Right, so we got a game coming out next year that's going to be still same path, still Black Wall Street-esque, but the game mechanics going to be completely different, and it's about a different Black Wall Street community, not Tulsa. Okay, and there's about 7 more games like that are already in the chamber. Number 2, we have children's books that we also do. So we got the Black History Adventures of Rose and Rodney. We've published 1 book so far. Book number 2 is in the editing stages right now, and that's going to be done by December as well. We are turning the Rose and Rodney series into an animated series.
So today we just did a nice run through of the Black History Adventures of Rose and Rodney.
Now it's time to have fun. They would have no idea how much fun this summer would truly be.
Rose, ask Mom if we can go to the movies today. I want to see the new Black Panther.
Why do I have to ask? You're the one who loves movies.
Oh, come on, sis. You know you're her favorite.
This is our first kind of dip and dabble into animated series.
So that's going to be on YouTube, and hopefully we'll be able to get a partnership with the streaming service to get it to more people as well. So we said start with one idea.
Yeah.
We started with one. We started board game. We did that for 3 years. Board game, right? Then we went books. Then we went back to more board games. Then we went to educational services. Then we went to more books. And now we're getting into multimedia, but multimedia within the zone of education. And that isn't necessarily pivoting, but it's what Nipsey would call vertical integration. All right, vertical integration. If you have a clothing store, you can buy shirts from a manufacturer, or you can start manufacturing shirts and do your own pressing, right? Or you can hire someone else to do that all for you. You can sell your shirts in Walmart, in Gucci, in H&M, or you can now buy real estate and sell your clothes only in your own store. Vertical integration, and that's what we're working towards.
And I think it also, that unfortunately happens, I think, with every market. Like once people get a hold of like, oh, this is successful, right? A bunch of other people start getting ideas about, oh, I can do this and I can do that. And I think that's where it also becomes important to find your UVP, your unique value proposition. What makes you different from every other person making games out there, right? So our big focus is education, and specifically the Black Wall Streets, right? These towns and cities that have been destroyed, that have such rich history. And as of now, we haven't seen anybody doing that specifically, right? So it's about, if you started a coffee brand, like there's 50 million coffee shops out there. So what is it, you want to start a coffee brand, what is gonna make your coffee different than the Starbucks and the Pete's and the whatever other coffee shops are out there, right? I think it's really about aligning yourself in the market as we understand that there's a lot of other coffee shops, right? There's a lot of other board games, but we are the masters at this. This specific lane is what we do. Because then it makes your pool of competition smaller, right? We're not necessarily competing against all other board games because our board game is educational, right? So we've created our own lane within this larger industry that makes it a little bit less competitive. So I think that's another thing that you have to do once the market becomes a little bit more saturated.
Then I think we had one last question at the back table. Go ahead.
Are we planning to put it into stores? The short answer is we are already in some community bookstores. We are not going to do the big box stores because of the amount of money that you need up front in order to be in a big box store, and they don't pay you until like 60 days after your games sell. So let's say hypothetically a big box store wanted to buy 10,000 Black Wall Street games. We would need to pay for 10,000 games to be created, to be manufactured, shipped here, then sent to that store. Then those 10,000 would need to sell out, and then 60 days after they sell out, then we get our money back. Our pockets are not that deep, right? So I think in the future we may be in some big box stores, but for now we appreciate being able to partner with some local bookstores, small stores, and like Underground Bookstore in Sacramento. Shout out, we appreciate y'all. There's gonna be the Black Wall Street Corner Store in Tulsa, in Black Wall Street. Our games are sold there. The Greenwood Rising Museum, our games used to be sold there. The Black History Museum in Detroit, our games are sold there. So we are in a couple of them, but no big box chains yet.
We, try to be very strategic with the partnerships and trying to, right, the essence of Black Wall Street is keeping it within the community, so I think that's something we're cognizant of. But two, I'm gonna be honest, even just with the nature of, certain stores and people boycotting certain ones, it's like, I think it would be even tricky right now to try to go into a store because you never know what nonsense is gonna come out, right? What they're gonna do, what they're gonna say next week. And now we've made this partnership, we fronted all of these board games and now nobody's shopping there. Our people are not shopping there, right? So I think that's another thing to keep in mind that I think we're not necessarily looking into just strategically right now. I think it's keeping it local, keeping it in our community as much as possible, keeping it on our website, where we also have control over its image, over how it's marketed, all of that.
I don't know how many nuggets of wisdom we've shared with the crowd today, but I think everyone in here is leaving with great knowledge, great information about business, about Black Wall Street. And I think it's very important. One, I don't know if y'all realize just how much y'all learned in this space, but just even hearing y'all use words like LLC, talking about corporations, talking about negotiations, those are things that folks your age don't have the skill set for because they're not taught those things. And it's very important for y'all to be in this space, to hear these conversations, especially some folks that look like many of the folks in this room too. That's completely priceless. And just to kind of summarize a little bit of what Sinclair and Devon just mentioned when it comes to being ready for that scale up too, I think that's something that's very important because I was going to talk to it a little bit when you talked about the Drew and Lauren Holiday Foundation, where it's like fantastic, it's going to be in every NBA player's house. but we got to get to work on getting these games to y'all.
Facts.
And I think when we talk about people going like viral on TikTok, one of the things I've heard frequently by people who have gone viral on TikTok, they're like, you have to be ready to go viral.
Right.
You have to have the means to replicate what you're trying to do. And I think hopefully you took at least one thing from this Fireside Chat. But I want y'all to join me in giving Devon and Sinclair a resounding round of applause for their time today.
Thank you.
Go for it. I'm on your time now.
So we want to do a quick plug. So one, talking about scaling. So the Queen mentioned how we were able to go from virtual engagements and workshops with the school district to now being able to work with schools and do our 10-week-long financial literacy mentorship program, right? And that started with me teaching all the classes, and then we would train the Queen so she can teach some of the classes, and then we would hire college students then go out and teach some of those classes, and that would allowed us to scale. So, network, we're hiring. So if you are a college student,
Which y'all all are.
You're willing to drive, you're willing to teach the next generation of entrepreneurs, you have a personality, you're willing to engage, we will fully train you. We pay competitively. Minimum wage at Play Black Wall Street is $25 an hour.
Don't say that too loud. I still got staff here that got to work.
Oh, my bad. So if you're interested, playblackwallstreet.com, go to the website, click on the team tab, and then go ahead and apply for whatever job you are willing and have the opportunity for. Playblackwallstreet.com, click on team, and you will apply to be a mentor with Play Black Wall Street. Thank you.
Job opportunities too, that's priceless. That is very priceless. And I hope that folks in this room take them up on that. Before we close out, I do have to reveal the, I think it looks solid. It's better than I expected.
Okay, we out here.
We out here.
It's not bad.
They got the beers, right? I mean, y'all can't really see it, but round of applause for Nick for his, I'll let y'all all see it later. I'll let you put this on your fridge back at home.
Well done, Nick. Well
But
done.
thank you all for participating in the Fireside Chat. Thank you all for engaging with Play Black Wall Street. Once again, playblackwallstreet.com. Follow the Instagram page, engage. You can buy merch representing the Masterpiece Edition. I still got that one wrapped in plastic in my closet because 30 years from now, when they got board games in every single sports league and every single store around the world, I'm gonna be like, I got the Masterpiece Edition when it first came out.
Love it.
But thank y'all.
Hi, my name is Leroy Shelley. I'm a RISE ambassador here at Cal Poly Pomona. I'm going into my second year. I'm a finance, real estate, and law major. What I liked about the game was the historical context, you know, getting in depth with the history of Black education and Black Wall Street.
Honestly, about the game, I like the fact that that we can understand how to invest in different companies, and also to understand to where it's important to own how many companies you can have, but also to invest your money, to be smart with your money.
It would be something along media, social media, like getting networking and just spreading word about day-to-day things.
I enjoyed the competitiveness, and you know, there's not really a lot of time to like get together and bond with people, so the fact that the game did that for us is really amazing.
I'd ask a millionaire for some money, obviously, so I can start my business.
I think this board game's important because I feel like it, one, teaches you a lot about history as it relates to Black communities in the past. It's not really taught about generally, especially in more high school and middle school environments. And so it allows you to be able to have fun while also teaching you real situations, real life events that have happened, but also keeping it lighthearted so it does include people who will maybe not be in those communities.